Hello vinyl community, it's Brian again, Gibson A9 on YouTube, and wanted to make a second video. Thanks so much for all the shout outs and all, the good reception to my first video. It was a great welcome to the vinyl community, I would have to say. You guys are more than kind, so a lot of good folks out there, a lot of knowledge, and really enjoying it so far. So, as I said in my first video, I am a collector of progressive rock, and some bluegrass LPs and doo-wop 45s. I don't know a whole lot about some other styles. I grew up listening to classic rock, I guess you'd say, but progressive rock's sort of my love, and one of the key figures associated with progressive rock artwork, as you well know, would be Roger Dean. He's kind of the king of progressive rock artwork. If you put out a progressive rock LP and you're in a new band and you want sort of instant credibility, if you can hire Roger to do the artwork, you'll have a leg up already. So what I'd like to do in today's video is just show you some of the Roger Dean album covers that I've got. They're not by any means a complete representation of his output. Some of them are really hard to come by and pretty rare, so these are pretty much what I would call the common ones that you see in record stores from time to time, that I've managed to accumulate. So without any further ado, let's take a look at some great Roger Dean artwork. Probably the first album that got me, first Roger Dean artwork I ever saw was this album by Asia, 1982, Asia's first album, the great dragon cover. Too bad it was not a gatefold. They weren't much into gatefolds in '82 anymore, but wonderful artwork there. Of course, those of you that know Roger Dean, he had some themes to his work. He liked floating rock islands for some reason. He liked dragons, and he liked arching rock formations. Who knows why, but anyway, that's what he was into. There's a dragon. Following year, Asia, this is all alphabetical by the way, Asia Alpha, second album featuring the original lineup, Steve Howe and Wetton and Downs and Palmer. That's a wonderful cover there. That's always been one of my favorites in the back. Beautiful artwork. He has a great use of color, lots of vibrant colors in all of his paintings generally. Third Asia album, which was musically a bit of a downward spiral, but Asia Astra, kind of a cool modern science fiction theme in there. Not much on the back, I guess, but Asia Astra. Roger Dean did some more Asia artwork covers. I just don't have them on vinyl. Aura is a particularly good one that I remember. So here's one of his earlier works. This is One Live Badger by Badger. Beautiful looking gatefold cover, which we'll see if we can show you here. If I get that oriented right. But beautiful album cover. Roger Dean, Badger. Next one is Green Slade. Now he did a couple Green Slade album covers, and I don't have, I guess it's Bedside Manners or Extra, but this is a phenomenal looking cover here, the original Green Slade album. Beautiful example of his early work. I don't know if that was watercolor or not that he worked in back then, but incredible album cover. Let's see what else we've got. Moving on to Steve Howe's solo work. Here's a copy of Beginnings. Someone on Vinyl Community posted a signed copy of this today, which was pretty sweet. But Steve Howe Beginnings, and so this has sort of his wild-looking, futuristic pod house type stuff going on, but beautiful cover there. Steve Howe's second album, the Steve Howe album, And this has kind of a wild, that guy there is swimming in the rocks, and then after a while looking at it you realize that the reflections of the rocks don't match what's above, so it's actually almost, who knows, a bubble of water suspended in midair, or who knows what. But so here again we talked about Roger. He enjoyed painting rock formations for some reason, so this is a good example of that. Alright, here's one I picked up about a year ago. This was a group called Lighthouse. This is a best of work, and I think they actually have a original release with this picture, but kind of a organic lighthouse kind of going on here, I guess. Some kind of a structure out in the middle of the ocean, but cool looking back to it also. Here's one that I had back in the day and I kind of lost, and I finally was able to pick up another copy. This is kind of a folk group named Mckendree Spring. Most of their other album artwork is kind of generic, but Roger Dean doing this cover. This is a great one. I love the arching, sort of pointed rocks on this cover. So Mckendree Spring, Spring Suite. The next group, I have it filed under prog, but they're really not prog. They're kind of, I guess, like a funk group or whatever, but it's Osibisa. And Roger Dean obviously did the cool looking logo for them, and flying elephants. Only Roger would come up with flying elephants, but real brilliant use of color on that. The pinks and yellows and oranges, that's a cool looking one. Second Osibisa album was called Royoya, and that's just a classic Roger Dean cover there, with the iguana and all. Beautiful cover. One of my favorites. Cha cha cha. Okay, getting into Uriah Heap here. This is Demons and Wizards by Uriah Heap. Again, some of that kind of swirly looking watercolor work that he used to do in the early days. And I believe this is a gatefold as well. Yeah. Second classic one that Roger did for Uriah Heap, The Magician's Birthday. Beautiful blue against red cover. Awesome, awesome work. Kind of some space age, kind of a spacey cover there, but this one, kind of a greatest hits collection. This is not really a picture, but it had a great, cool looking logo on that. Best of Uriah Heap. And of course, the group he's most famously associated with, of course, would be Yes. So I'll show you. He didn't do all of Yes's album covers. Hypnosis did some for a period, but I'll show you the ones that Roger Dean was involved with. So, first album he ever did for Yes would be Fragile, and had kind of an early version of the Yes logo here in the same print. Beautiful, beautiful colors on this, the navy blues and all, and showing the little. There we go. I guess they call that the Morglade or whatever that is, a little spaceship leaving Earth. Close to the Edge, the progressive rock masterpiece, voted a lot of times as the #1 progressive rock album of all time, usually in competition with In the Court of the Crimson King, but Close to the Edge by Yes, and again the first use of the classic Yes logo. Kind of a generic outside cover, but the inside gatefold had a beautiful beautiful artwork on it, so pardon the glare there. The next one I would say would have to be his masterpiece. This is kind of a worn copy. I have a better copy of it. This is Yes Songs, the Triple Live LP set. This this here is sort of an Art Nouveau, I think is what they call it, Art Nouveau style vines and such. The back cover, a lot of artwork on this. There are the islands floating away. And first interior shot. And second interior shot. And if I can find it, third interior shot. And if you're watching, I guess what he's trying to say was that the planet that exploded on Fragile had a piece that went out, and here they are floating through space, and you'll see that eventually these pieces implant themselves and then life starts on the new planet or something like that. But it was all very spacey back then, and go Roger. Another classic here, next album, Tales from Topographic Oceans. Some people vote this as their favorite Dean cover of all time, and I would have to say it's one of my favorites. Just a wonderful cover. Yesterday's, which is their first greatest hits collection that they did. A real colorful copy there. Relayer. This is great. Roger kind of got away from his normal use of bright colors and just went with earth tones and grays. Just an absolutely intriguing album cover. If I can get back there. You see the guys on the horses here, and no, it's not showing what I want. Anyway, thought I remembered something there about the cover that I apparently did not, so whatever. Yes Shows. This is the second live album that Yes put out, other than Yes Songs, and that's one of my favorites. Got the bird flying through there. And one kind of cool thing that I seem to remember, although I don't see it on the cover here, it seemed like for a while I remember that in the back, if you look carefully, there was an area that instead of seeing rocks up here, it looked like you were looking through a hole to something else, but I'm not seeing it today. Next album that was great, this is a wonderful cover, Drama. The album with where John Anderson had left, and we had Trevor Horn and Jeff Downes. Kind of a dark, brooding theme here, kind of a storm of some sort. But the coral there, just a really remarkable cover, very striking. Classic Yes, this was a greatest hits collection. This is a kind of a, I don't know what you say, translucent, or I don't even know what the word is, but kind of a underground cave look to that one. Iridescent, that's probably the word. But anyway, classic Yes. Cool logo there, the chrome version of the Yes logo. Here's one that really didn't come out in the U.S., I think. I can't remember if this is a U.S. pressing or another one, but this is Union from, I guess, about '93. This is kind of hard to find on vinyl. You don't see it in the bins a lot, but Roger, by this point, was really into his rock outcropping phase here, where he had different treatments of curving rocks. Any of you that have seen the movie Avatar, you know there was a big fuss about people copying Roger Dean's style, and you know, in that movie you had dragons, flying dragons, floating rock islands, and rock outcroppings. So a lot of people think that visually they copied Roger Dean and didn't give him any credit for that. But this is from the box set for Fly From Here, which came out last year, the vinyl copy of that. Wonderful cover, greens, light and dark greens with a huge Yes logo there. Just a wonderful cover. And the inside apparently Roger Dean said that he had started a painting way back when. This style you see here in the background with the swirling look and the swirling watercolor look, I think he had started that and never used it, so he made this out of it. I may be wrong on that, but I seem to remember reading that somewhere. So, and last but not least, this was a Yes Years box set that came out a while back, and had a cool yellowish theme cover to it. So that's pretty much all the Roger Dean album covers that I've got. I do have a couple books. He's produced his original book was called Views. It was maybe from, who knows, 76, somewhere in that range. I don't have a copy of Views. The successor to Views was Magnetic Storm. And that's a pretty thick book with a lot of his non-album artwork work in it. And finally, this is his recent one from last year, Dragon's Dream. Hardback book, and both are phenomenal. So if you really like Roger's artwork, pick up a copy of those books. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm still looking for more Roger Dean covers as I scour the rack. So if you all know of any more that I've missed, let me know. And Babe Ruth, you'll see a copy of the Babe Ruth album with the guy with the bat. That was actually a Roger Dean, early Roger Dean cover as well. So I'm looking for a copy of that. But anyway, appreciate it. See y'all.